There is a terrifying absurdity to living in a modern apartment building. When you sleep, 6 inches of drywall and some cheap fiberglass insulation are the only things separating your body from a complete stranger. We accept this extreme vulnerability by simply agreeing to ignore it. Lena Morris wanted to be ignored. After a brutal breakup in Chicago, she needed a temporary escape from a city where she knew too many people. She packed her life into boxes and signed a lease for apartment 9B in downtown Philadelphia. She was the archetype of the modern urbanite, migrating to a new hive to disappear completely. Her new home was Westbridge Towers. It was a towering slab of 1970s brutalist concrete that functioned as a perfect incubator for a sociological condition known as the crowded void. This is what happens when extreme physical proximity generates profound psychological isolation. Pack 500 people into one vertical structure, and a distinct behavioral defense mechanism takes over. Residents stare at their phones and groaning elevators. They avoid eye contact in the mailroom. They actively detach from one another to maintain the illusion of a private sanctuary. For the first week, the system worked perfectly for Lena. Then, the architectural illusion fractured. Every single night, exactly at 2:13 a.m., a sound bled through the bedroom vent. It was a soft, calm male laugh. Not manic, just a gentle chuckle, as if a man was standing in the dark, watching something quietly amusing. Brutalist buildings are marketed to us as impregnable fortresses of privacy. In reality, they are shared structural ecosystems linked by hollow vents, shared pipes, and thin walls. They offer a false sense of security, built on a grid that an unseen entity can easily exploit to reach you. The human mind desperately wants to rationalize an intrusion. Lena assumed it was a neighbor's television or late-night phone call. On the 4th day, she complained to the building manager about the tenant in 14C. The manager simply stared at her and noted that 14C had been entirely abandoned for years. That night, Lena stayed awake. At 2:12 a.m., the apartment was dead silent. A minute later, the metal slats of the vent began to gently rattle. The low, affectionate laughing started again. Lena grabbed her phone, stood on her mattress, and shined a flashlight straight into the dusty void of the ductwork. The laughter stopped immediately, and a voice whispered back from the darkness, "Wrong apartment." Looking at this cross-section, you can see how efficiently sound travels through structural voids. Psychologists call this auditory paranoia, an evolutionary vulnerability. When your brain detects a threat it can hear but cannot locate, the nervous system enters overdrive. To survive the informational vacuum, the mind floods with worst-case assumptions. The sound becomes the atmosphere of the room itself. By speaking through the vent, the voice stripped away the illusion that Lena was alone. It was a deliberate test of the architectural boundary protecting her bed, and it proved that the drywall separating her from the threat was entirely useless. The next morning, a hastily scrawled note appeared on the elevator panel, offering a bizarre, anonymous warning. This caught the attention of a neighbor named Mia, who pulled Lena into her apartment, locked the door, and revealed the building's hidden history. Mia explained the rigid pattern of the entity in 14C. The man only laughs to draw attention to himself. Over the previous 2 years, 3 tenants had complained to management about the noise in the vents. Shortly after acknowledging the laughter, all 3 vanished without a single trace. There is a specific reason a smiling predator triggers such intense revulsion. A smile is a deeply ingrained social contract, a biological signal of safety, empathy, and shared joy. A predator masking its hunt with an expression of silent, unearned happiness violates that contract completely. It weaponizes our concept of joy into a tool of intimidation. That night, at exactly 2:13 a.m., the laughter did not come from the vent. It came from Lena's kitchen. She crept into the hallway with a knife. Standing near her sink, illuminated only by the faint glow of the refrigerator, was a silhouette. His head nearly scraped the ceiling. He possessed a smile far too wide for a human face, and he calmly whispered, "You're in my apartment." This creates a psychological phenomenon known as liminal space horror. A kitchen is a space defined by domestic safety and routine. By injecting an impossibly tall, smiling intruder into the center of that routine, the entity transforms a familiar sanctuary into a deeply hostile alien environment. The kitchen light shattered. Lena bolted for the front door, struggling with the locks as the laughter closed in directly behind her. She finally spilled out into the hallway, barefoot and terrified. But when the police arrived and breached her unit, there was no shattered glass. There was no intruder. And when maintenance finally unlocked 14C upstairs, they found an entirely empty room. There was no furniture or electricity, but every square inch of drywall was covered in names, heavily scratched into the paint, hundreds of them. And carved freshly at the very bottom was a new addition, Lena Morris. Lena packed her bags that night. She broke her lease, fled the city entirely, and rented a cheap suburban house. She relied on the logical assumption that physical distance from Westbridge Towers would sever her connection to whatever lived inside it. Physical distance cannot cure the hypervigilance caused by a total loss of privacy. Lena found herself checking the deadbolts every 20 minutes and flinching at the rhythmic hum of her new refrigerator, waiting for the vibration to turn into a voice. She had traded the urban hive for a suburban island, but the silence only made her more attuned to the sounds of a breach. 6 months later, Lena finally started to sleep through the night. Then the package arrived at her new address. No return label, just a single VHS tape with the words "Welcome Home" written in black marker. The tape opened with static, eventually clearing to show grainy security footage of the 14th floor hallway at Westbridge Towers. The timestamp read 2:13 a.m. The door to 14C drifted open, and the impossibly tall man stepped out, staring and smiling directly into the lens. Then, the recording abruptly cut away from the apartment building. The new footage was intimately close, recorded from inside a dark bedroom. It showed Lena fast asleep in her new suburban home. Slowly, the smiling man leaned into the frame right beside her bed, watching her breathe. The smiling man thrives in the gaps created by urban anonymity. He is a predator born from the silence and the locked doors we use to keep the world out. We build these concrete boxes to hide our lives from strangers, only to realize that the stranger has been inside the box the entire time, watching us from the only side of the wall we can't see. He didn't follow Lena to the suburbs. He was never truly separate from her. He is the price of the isolation we choose.